Well, welcome back to another video. Finally got a weekend off work in a month, so it's time to get some jobs done. It's getting cold around here, even the dogs have got the fleeces on in the kitchen. So, first job on the list is to get this old girl stripped down, cleaned out and turned back on. So we're going to, while Tracy's gone with the outside clean now, I'm going to get inside, get all the oil filters and everything cleaned out, and hopefully that'll be back on in a couple of hours. After we've done that, I need to get onto this island because it's been in now for about 5 years and it's had some hell of a stick in its last 5 years, and all the varnish has started to come off. It's getting a bit sticky, so we're going to give that a full sand down and a full re-overhaul, and then hopefully get onto the kitchen countertops as well, because somebody has left a damp pan on and they've left a big black ring on the wood, so that all needs sanding out and sorting out. So hopefully we'll get all that done because we need to cut off at some point to get outside, because we've got animal related jobs to do and time is of the essence and light is in short supply, so we're going to have to get on with that sooner rather than later. But first of all, let's get this stripped down. Right, we have showed this before in video, so I'll just be brief and give you a quick rundown of what it is. This is an original 1940s 2-oven Aga, oil fired. Once it's on, it's on. So we can only really clean it and give it a good scrub when it's off and it's cold, which is this time of year. It's mid-November, so we do try and get it on around about this time of year. It's actually a bit late for us to get it back on this year. So in order to do that, we just need to strip these two lids off. There's a big drum in there which we take out. Then you've got to open this door, and the oil well and the heating system is all in there. So we'll have to get all that out, give it a good clean, put new wicks in, and then we'll get it away. Right, so now we've got it all stripped down. Tracy can get on with cleaning the lids and the actual Aga. I need to get on with cleaning the internal workings of it, which are pretty simple. Just give you a run through. So the oil comes in this pipe here, fills this reservoir, which soaks these wicks, and then these internal chimneys go on there. When they go on properly, it circulates the airflow and gets it burning nice and clean if it's all put together right. So basically when we turn it off, we just shut it off, which starves it of oil, and then it burns itself out. That's why when you come to clean it, all the wicks are all like crusted like that, because we just let it burn itself out, and inside it's gone all crystallized. So I need to get a wire brush, give all that a good clean all the pipe work out, get some new wicks, put it all back together. Bob's your uncle, Fanny's your aunt, on with it.
As Stephen said, we've gone into quite a bit of detail on previous videos on servicing and the kind of the restoration of the Aga that we've done, which hasn't been hugely significant. We've not had a respray or anything like that. But if you're interested, go have a look for those and you can see what he's done in the past. But basically every year when he does the service, he takes the wicks that have come off and on a new wick, just marks them out using the template of the previous wicks as to where the gaps are going to need to be to make sure that they fit in the oil well in the cylinder that he needs to put them back on. So we do have to source these online. We've not been able to find them anywhere locally at the moment, but when you get them, they do tend to last for a couple of services, and he just fits them back into where they've come out of, which is, this is the oil well that fills up with the oil, but Stephen will show you that in just a moment. And just make sure that they've got a snug fit, and then hopefully these guys will see us right through until next year, and we're not going to need to replace them anymore until he does another service. We have noticed a difference in how the oil is burning since we've been added that blue burn that I think Stephen's already mentioned, and it hasn't actually gone out on its own, the Aga. We haven't had any issues with it where it's gone out and we've had to relight it, which we did have a good few of those issues a few years back. So touch wood, this one will hopefully be the same as last year, and it burned absolutely fantastically all the way through the colder months and will be our main source of cooking and heating from the kitchen. There you can see the oil is just filling up now, so that is looking really positive.
Right, well, one obstacle overcome. We've got it all cleaned out, the new wicks in, turned the oil back on, got it all in. It's actually started to come through, which is always like a sigh of relief when that happens. So we need to wait 15 minutes. It actually wasn't that dirty because we got a tip to start using this stuff every time we put 1,000 litres in. We put a bottle of that in, and it's been burning absolutely brilliant. So it wasn't actually that dirty as other times as we've had to clean it out. So we'll give it 15 minutes. That should be enough time to get it all put back together, for the oil to come through, soak the wicks, and then we'll get it lit. Right, so it's the moment of truth. We'll fire her up and see how she goes.
Oh, hold on.
Start again. Well, it's lit anyway, so that means the wicks are soaked with oil.
But it hasn't been that high for, well, I can't remember when the last time we had this rain. Well, at least the rain has stopped. The river has not been this high. Well, you've just heard me say probably. I can't remember the last time it was this high. Obviously we've had such a drought all summer, and downpour of goodness knows how much over the last couple of weeks, and we're just due more and more. But it's going to be really cold, as Stephen mentioned, which is why we're trying to put the Arga on, so fingers crossed that works. The oil is through and he's lit it, as you've seen, so we're going to have a look and double check that it's all working as it should. It doesn't always go to plan first time, of course not. And it's really cold out here and quite windy, so I'm hoping you can hear me, because last time I was out here in the wind, it was quite difficult to hear me on the microphone. So
These little tiny horns.
Hello. Angus is the king. Come here, rebel. Dad.
good girl, Max, good girl.
Are they big dogs? Eh?
Good girl. She's doing really well, to be fair.
That's rebel. He likes to stroke.
Look at the colour of you.
Hey, Maggie, use this. Maggie. Maggie.
Well, she only gets jealous when she sees, oh, I've got this stuff. Hopefully the wind's not too much. So we've got 4 lambs that will be going very soon. That's what we're just checking on at the moment. We're going to move all 6 of them, so the other 2 are just pets. We're going to move all 6 of them back up onto where the grass is a little bit longer, and they can then eat that down over the next couple of weeks before they're basically onto the winter hay. Dexter's going to come back in the field, and the pony's going to come back in here as well. There's no grass basically, so they'll be getting extra supplemented hay. Dexter will be in here full time. The pony's now only going to be coming out for like for an hour a day or so, but the sheep will be with Dexter because they're on the adjoining paddock. So fingers crossed all that works out. We're going to try and get them moved now. I'm getting followed. Steve's just going to go up and turn the electric fence back on. The pony has been over yonder behind the fence, and we're going to try and turn it back on and just see what happens with the sheep. They've got tangled in it before when it wasn't on, but I'm hoping that it'll be okay. And the sheep are going to come back in here. I'm not sure if you can see the difference in the length of the grass through the fence there, but basically there's a bit more grass in here where Maggie is now. And right on cue, Mr. Dexter, who's over in the corner there, is going to be going into the field where the sheep are. So we're going to get him moved once the sheep are out. Actually, what I should have said was once the sheep have eaten this down, they will go, and the 4 lambs have gone, the 2 sheep that are left will go back in with Dexter, so he will have them all winter. Still need to talk about where they're going to shelter and things like that and how we're going to work that out, but it's all starting to come together. We'll get there. Hello ladies, come on, back on here. Follow like sheep, come on. Right, the pony's out in the field. He's very happy to be out, but we're only going to put him out for an hour. That's probably enough for today for his exercise. This is the area that he was in. It's not really coming up on camera quite how trashed it is, and this is really close obviously to the house, so when you look out of the kitchen window, that's what you look onto. I'm just going to show you the difference between grazed and ungrazed. So that's the fence that I was saying Stephen is turning back on, because the sheep are perfect timing. We might see if they respect it or not, but you can see on the left hand side the pony is basically dead to go that close to it, and then all this is completely ungrazed at the moment. But yeah, a little bit more close, you can see it's totally trashed. So we'll leave this because it is due to freeze this week, later on in the week, and when it has, I'll get tidied up in there and get the ground stood on to try and flatten it again, and we'll get it reseeded. Oh, the pony's having a roll in the distance. Happy days for him. Just watching Stephen thinking about his project that he can't get on with. This is where he's got to on it. We'll talk about that when the weather's a bit better. Right, we're going to head into the barn now. The animals where they're supposed to be, and see what the latest damage in there is from the little problem that we've been having. So you might know if you've been around a while, we do get problems with rodents. What we've done is moved all of the damaged bales, the ones that weren't too badly damaged, up onto the top of the trailer. And then you can see this has just been what's left. A chicken's probably been in there this morning, but you can see the damage to the bales that they've done, and they tend to get in, make more runways down the back. So these bales were too damaged to kind of save. So what we've done is decided to put those there for using next. So we've stacked all of the good ones in here, but unfortunately, on a night we see, because we've put a camera up to actually see the little camera there, just so we can see what's going on, there's something coming along, whoops, and has made a runway out of these as well, and we see it come over from that stable into this stable, and obviously this is the hay that we feed our animals. So the last thing that we want is any drop-ins or anything on the hay, so we're going to have a look and see what we can.
Right, so we thought this would be pretty safe and pretty rat-free. Like I say, we cleared all this out. We've blocked all the runways up where they were coming in this stable, and they haven't been touched, so that's fine. So they must be coming in that stable, so I'll have to do the same in there as what I've done in here. But for now, we're going to move all these, put them on top of the trailer with the other ones where we've got them stacked, and then we'll clear all these pallets out and see where we're at from there. I mean, they could be living anywhere. They'd be living under the barn, they could be nesting in this. We'll have to give that a good clean out, get the dogs in. I have shot about 6 or 8 over the last week, but they always seem to be at that side of the barn, and this side I can't get one. So we'll just have to see where we stand. We'll get all this cleared. Right, so this is where the worst bit where they've been at this, but it looks like it's this one that's took the most damage. Like I say, we could use poison, but that's a last resort. We don't want to use it because we have dogs running about, the neighbours have cats. We don't want any secondary poison and this, that and the other, so we just don't use it. We're not at that stage where we're overrun with rats. We just have the odd, well, I don't know, dozen or so that we think are just a bit pain in the arse really, but we'll deal with it this way.
And I know people have said that there's poisons that don't have the secondary poisoning issue, but still we just don't want to risk it, to be quite honest. And I know that's probably frustrating for some people, but we're just not at the stage, as Stephen says. We'll just keep trying to manage it best we can. There's different times of the year when the worst, isn't it? When they cut the fields and things, or
We don't come in there's 200 running about, so when we're at that point, we might consider it.
well, no, we don't actually see them, do we? That's the problem. We literally have to set the camera up, or Stephen comes out with his night scope thing. What's it called?
Yeah, night vision.
And then and obviously has to get them that way, so we don't see them. It's not that we come in and that they're just kind of hanging around, thankfully. Anyway, that one is, oh my god, if one jumps out at me now I'll die.
See if it's got a nest in there.
But what a waste though, all good bedding.
Right, well that's a bonus. We've just found and dispatched one of the culprits. If you're squeamish, you might want to look away now. It's a big old boy, isn't it?
Is it a boy?
No, it's a girl, I think.
That'll be the one that's been on the bales every night.
Size of that.
Right, you need to wash your hands now.
That's one down, 50 to go. This is one of the main damaged bales of shaving, so we can't really tape this up, so we'll just use it for cleaning all the chickens out. We'll refresh all the nest boxes. Tracy's just had the glamorous job of cleaning all the shit off the top there. So we'll just, it won't go to waste, it'll do for the hens, but it's not ideal.
The stuff that was too contaminated, that rat that you've just seen was living in, we've put all that on the compost, haven't we? So at least that doesn't go to waste either. This bedding is what we use for the pony. It's more expensive, purely because he eats straw, and we use straw for all of the other livestock because it's much cheaper, but unfortunately we can't use that for him. So that's why I'm saying we don't normally use this for the chickens.
Nice and fresh from when they come in tonight. Right, well we've got all the outside jobs done, all the animals are where they're supposed to be, all the barns tidy, chickens are clean. Just come back in and we'll see how we're getting on. It's been on now about an hour and a half, so see how it's going. Quick fingers crossed. I can feel the heat like, so it's still on. Oh look at that, it's burning perfect. I don't know if that'll show on camera, but you want to look over there?
No, I did. I don't want to be melted. I don't want to melt the...
Well, that's how it should be burning, nice clean blue flames. If you see any yellow flames, that means it's like looking for air and it's licking for air somewhere. So thankfully everything's cleaned. We've cleaned out the flue, cleaned out all the pipes. So it's burning nice. Now, what are you going to cook on it first?
A cup of tea.
I think you have to be waiting a while for that, before it heats up. Probably take about 8 hours to get up to optimum temperature, but
so far so
she's
good.
alive anyway. Just a word on this acrylic top. Over the years it's been scratched to hell. It should look like this nice shiny black, but it's not actually muck, that it's scratches in the enamel. But I don't know, if we're here another 10 years we might get it recoated.
I think it's not doing too bad for the age.
No. But good, glad she's on. Might be nice and warm down here in the morning when we come down. Right, well there's a good few jobs done for the day. The Arga's kicking out some heat already, so it won't take 8 hours I don't think for that to get up to heat, because I can already feel it from here. Managed to get all this sanded off. I had to break out the belt sander in the end because the varnish that was on it was just too thick and sticky, but it was one of them jobs I wish I'd never started, but I'm glad it's done. So we have to nip out tomorrow anyway, so we'll call and we'll pick up some stain. I think we're going to stain it darker than it was because it looked a bit like orangey and we weren't really keen on it. But yeah, it turned out well. Like I say, amazing what you can get done when you don't have to go to work. So it's knocking off time now because it's starting to get dark, so we need to go out, get the animals fed and then knock off for the evening. Hey, there you go. That's another job done. Pretty pleased with the turnout. We'll give it a 1 coat, but it was still a bit sticky, so I had to sand it all off again. It's had 2 coats. I think that's as dark as we're going to go, so we'll just leave it at that. Now we'll go and pod some beans.
Well, it's Monday evening and there's nothing better that we prefer to do around here than pod beans. This is the bean harvest, the gigante beans. This is the Greek gigantes, which are hopefully going to be absolutely massive. So should we open one together and have a look? Oh, this is a bit of a small one to start with. There's 1 bean from the pod. There's only 2 in here. Hopefully there'll be more as we go on. But if we pop those in, there's a very distinctive noise. That's the noise I was trying to hope for. A very distinctive noise of how dry they are. If you've got a bean that you can still put your fingernail in when you push in, it's probably not dry enough. With them being bigger, they're going to take more drying. They've been drying for about a fortnight now. In the storeroom there, I've just been going in and checking on them. Thankfully, there's been no other activity of any other rodents or anything in there. So all of that food in there is completely safe at the moment, touch wood. So we're going to get podding them. If they need any more drying, which some of the larger ones might, then we're just going to leave them out, spread out on this table. Now that the alga's on, they should dry nice and quickly. So we're going to get to podding. Come on, Stephen. Well, a rather modest looking harvest, but we're really pleased with it. That'll actually do us a good few meals, and we will be using these to have with the baked potato squash that are also in stores. I'm going to show you hopefully a recipe at the weekend with those now that the alga's back on, but we won't be using the dried beans for that recipe. We're going to be using them fresh because there's still quite a few fresh out there that we'll be able to get used, but these are looking absolutely fantastic. We're chuffed to bits with that. They will need a little bit more drying out, like I said, so we're just going to spread them out on some racks or something and just leave them for the heat of the alga to dry, because it is quite warm in here. Don't be fooled by the coat. I just haven't taken it off yet. So there we go, 2 bowls. We'll weigh them and we'll get back to you with the weights. 2 bowls for the winter pantry. We've got our first snowfall. I think it's the 19th of November. It's wet snow. The ground's already saturated. I'm trying to encourage Dexter to come under this hawthorn tree. Is it hawthorn? My brain's froze. I've got some more food here. I've just fed him at the gate so he doesn't trample me with his excitement of getting fed. As soon as he's finished that, because it's only a little bit, then I'm going to encourage him to come on over here because it's actually quite dry and protected under this tree. We are building a shelter at the weekend. Didn't expect snow this week, so the plan was for the 3 weeks that I talked about where we've got free weekends, i.e. Stephen's not at work in November, one of them was to start the shelter for Dexter, like I said in a different video, but it's snowing now. He's absolutely fine. The snow's on his back, meaning that at least it's not melting into him, so fingers crossed. He's a tough little cookie. He's got plenty of shelter from the trees and things. However, the shelter that he normally goes into, I've just looked, and all the snow is dripping underneath, so it's really saturating the ground underneath, so it might not be the best kind of shelter for him. Anyway, this hay is looking okay. I've got a huge pile of hay in front of me that he's having, or will be having. I'll give him this feed, and then at least he knows that I can feed him here safely, hopefully. And there's the snow. My eyes are watering, the camera's getting wet. I'll talk to you soon because I don't want anything breaking. Well, I didn't quite get that on camera because it was literally a bull in a china shop. He does have good stopping skills though, so he came flying around there at what felt like 1,000,000 miles an hour, and he stopped, and now he's having the rest of his breakfast, and hopefully he'll be very happy with this hay. So that's him done for now. The snow's actually already gone off his back because of the wet. It's raining now rather than snowing. All the sheep over, the farmer's sheep in the distance, shouting their heads off. Presumably not very happy that we can't get to the grass. And of course, no matter how well you plan and try to get ahead with your projects, there's always something that you don't get a chance to do, and that thing was to put a gate on in between this area where the pony is and the front of the house, just kind of a double protection in case anybody left a gate open and he's not to escape. So Stephen, bless him, came home from work and made a temporary one out of, you guessed it, pallets. The very last bit of light on Friday night, it's actually darker than it looked. The camera always does a good job. We're starting to put the pony out on this bit now because the field is ridiculously soggy, especially after the thaw that we've had from the frost that I was showing you. The sheep are all doing well, Dexter's fine. We've got a lot to get on with this weekend with regards to the shelter that I mentioned and the usual move around that we do sort of to satisfy the winter needs of the animals. But for now, I'm going to go and see if there's any of those green beans, the gigantes, left that were fresh. We took all of the ones to dry and to keep for seed saving and that we're going to eat over the winter on a previous video, and we said that there's some left that we're going to eat fresh, and I'm hoping that they haven't died off or turned to mush in the frost, because we're going to have some for our meal tonight if there is any left. We're going to do those with some baked potato squash, but the garden is looking very sad because of the really severe frost that we've had, but we'll have a look at that another day. I'm going to get some beans and I'll meet you back inside. She always puts her ears back as if she's done something wrong.
What have you done, beans?
Well, some of these are clearly a lot fresher and some of them, actually that looked a lot different colour outside, but we'll see how they go. This one has been hit by the frost, so it's super soggy, but I'm hoping that inside the beans are okay. We'll see. Questionable. We'll cook them up and we'll see how they go. I'm going to pod these and we're going to give them 20 to 30 minutes simmering and then make a sauce for them to go with the squash and the mince. I've got some pork mince out. Can I just say, look at the size of that beauty. It's a shame we didn't keep that one from seed. That would be perfect. That is an absolute monster. So I've got a few of them. We're going to get these simmered. I don't need that many as a decent side amount because obviously there's quite a lot of flesh within them. So a small amount, and we're going to get the pork mince cooked up and the squash. Stephen's going to cut that in half in just a second, and we're going to get that cooking in the Aga. So for the sauce that I'm going to make, I'm going to do some onion powder because I've got tons of it in the pantry for some reason. No bananas. Smoked paprika, mustard. I've got some very lazy smoked chopped garlic. They sent smoked because they didn't have any of the other, and I'm really pleased they did. It's absolutely lovely. Tomato puree and passata, don't fall over. So that's going to be the basis of the sauce. If I had Worcestershire sauce, I would add that in as well, but can I heck find it? So that's going to be the basis, and we'll see where we get to. This is the meat that I'm going to be using tonight. This is defrosted pork mince out of the freezer. This the pork mince that we did last year was in the flat bags, which was really quick to defrost and easy to stack. Stephen did them in this year, and to be quite honest, these have been just as easy to defrost and just as easy to stack. So happy with this shape. We'll be using this or the other, the flat, moving forward. But anyway, that's just totally plain pork mince, no seasoning or anything. So I'm just going to get some fat in the bottom of the pan, and then we'll cook the pork mince and all of the spice.
Right, well, it's been about a month since we harvested the baked potato squash, and then we got the Aga on the beginning of the week, so a better way to christen it than get these on the go. Trace likes me to cut them in half because they are quite hard, and that's as much participation as I'm going to get into this meal. So we'll get with that, and then I'll get out the way.
So this one is the one that we lost the stalk from. We knocked the stalk off by accident.
Look at that.
And thankfully...
Beautiful. I might need both of them halves. Quite hungry tonight. You might actually get another one.
No chance.
Right, there you go. I'll leave you to it.
Perfect. I was a little bit worried that it would have gone down, you know, it might have rotted here, but the stalk was nice and firm, so looking good. So I've been asked on multiple occasions, how do we cook these? I've literally scraped the seeds out, which you can see here. Unfortunately, these are hybrids, which I was quite disappointed about because I did think that they weren't, so that they were open pollinated, but meaning that I can't keep the seeds to grow from next year. But to be quite honest, these have been such a crazy growing season for these. I'm going to buy fresh seed anyway, so even if I could have kept these seeds to grow them on for next year, I wouldn't be doing that because we've had such a variation in the plants. Anyway, all I'm going to do is take some of this pork fat, which is our own rendered down pork fat, and I'm literally going to grab this, what's it called, like a paintbrush type thing, and just wipe it over the top, and then I'm going to turn them over face down like so and put them in the Aga for 30 minutes like that. So face down basically steams them inside. I'll turn them over, fill them up with the contents, the pork mince, etc. that we've got, and leave them for another 5 or 10 minutes just to roast off face up. But face down I find always works best because it steams them. The pork is done, and goodness me, that tastes amazing. I'm literally going to tip in some of the, well, all of the beans into the sauce. Sorry, dog interruption. So I've just tipped the beans in with a little bit of the juice that they were cooked in, although I did drain it off, and I'm just going to mix those in. I've put all of the pork mince in here. You could probably just do with half, to be honest, but Stephen said he's hungry. Please excuse the lighting. It's not great lighting in the kitchen on an evening. So this is just the baked potato squash that has been cooked face down, as I said, and then I've flipped them over. So they have literally just had a very light dusting of fat just to brown them off a little bit. All I'm going to do is spoon the mixture into the middle of the baked potato squash with a little bit of cheese or whatever toppings we fancy, and then serve those as the actual squash onto a plate, so that you use that as the bowl that you're scooping them out of, basically. So I'll make sure that every one of these beans is eaten, and any leftover of the mince will go to another meal. There you go. That might not look like much to some, but to us it's absolutely fantastic. I'm going to add some of this cowboy candy on that we made the other week. Just literally put a little bit along the top. I can do it with one hand. There we go. That is exactly how we will eat the majority of the baked potato squash that we've got, just with some sort of probably mince type filling, and just literally stuff it. You just eat it, pull it away from the skin, and it comes away absolutely fantastic. You'll be left with the skin that can just go in the compost. You can actually eat it if you want to, but we tend to compost ours. And there you go, fantastic homemade food, beautiful. And there's another week done on the small holding. So thank you very much if you've got this far for sharing some of our week with us. We will be back next weekend with another video, which we hope to see you there. Goodbye for now.